I prayed it was just a missing person. I waited for that phone call. Night I had birthdays to pass, and no call.
Charles Weidman is living a father's worst nightmare. He hasn't seen his daughter in 11 years. Anita Richardson left her cousin's home in August 2003 after a dispute with her husband, Robert Richardson Jr.
He wasn't the person for her. She married somebody that she thought she could help.
And the thing about it is she adored him so much. That would hurt me.
Anita's family didn't hear from her that night or the next day. Anita was considered a missing person until a few months later, when her 1994 teal green Mustang was found in St. Mary's, Georgia, driven by her husband's sister.
I think that will put the icing on the cake. Because, before we really didn't know that, but for the sister to have her car in Georgia.
I was told once when they found her car in Georgia that it was changed from missing to homicide.
The Middleton family believes Robert Richardson should be named a suspect or at least a person of interest, but he never was. They also say he never reached out to them to help find Anita, and Weidman is disappointed in what he calls a lack of action. Anita is not listed on the Richland County Missing Persons website or the Unsolved Homicides page. She also isn't on the SLED list of cold cases, and the few websites she is listed on do not even have her age correct. Do you honestly believe your daughter is still alive?
No, ma'am. I do not.
Weidman just wants justice and closure, and now plans to press charges against who he believes took his daughter's life. In Columbia, Dana Fulton, Watch Fox News.
Welcome to page 57. I am your host, Candace Evette, and I am back with another video. Now, in this video, I am going to be covering a missing persons case, which possibly could be a homicide. It is almost 20 years old and is considered a cold case. Without further ado, let's jump right into this article. So it says Columbia, South Carolina resident Anita Middleton Richardson was last seen on August 15th of 2003. On that day, Anita visited her cousin's residence in the Churchill Apartments to celebrate a baby shower. Things took a turn when Anita and her husband, Robert Richardson Jr. Now pay attention to that name, audience, because it sounds like he has two first names, because his name, the husband, Anita's husband at that time, is Robert Richardson Jr. And the reason why I'm pointing that out is because the article misquoted and they're calling him Richard all through the article. So you will hear me correcting that and calling him by his first name, which is actually Robert. Okay, so it says, again, Anita and her husband Robert got into a fiery argument the day at the baby shower at the cousin's apartments. They got into a fiery argument, okay? And Anita stormed out of the party. Richard was considered by Anita's family to be abusive. Red flag. Anita's family couldn't get in contact with her that evening or the next day. For months, Anita's family had not heard from her. Now I have to pause right there and add my 2 cents. Now, I feel like in a way the family dropped the ball here. If you know that the last time that you seen her was August 15th, and on that day, her and her abusive husband got into an argument, and then on the 16th of August and even the 17th, you had not heard from her and nobody checked in with her. That's where I feel like, in my opinion, the family dropped the ball. If you haven't heard from her, this is where you have to be her advocate and step in and, start to grill him. Not months down the line, but them 24 to 48 hours are very critical in cases like these. You must, especially if you know that the boyfriend or the husband is abusive, you have to go over there, not the phone call, not a text. You have to actually show up in person or send the police if you are not feeling safe enough to do it. Send the police to do a welfare check and see what is going on. But as the article states, even after the first 2 days, they didn't hear from her. Okay, they went months. Okay, and they still have not heard from this young lady. And eventually, almost 2 months down the line, on October 10th, her sister filed an official missing persons report. Then someone spotted her missing 1994 Ford Green Mustang, okay, as pictured. Richardson's teal green Mustang was recovered in St. Mary's, Georgia. Remember, you all, she's originally from Columbia, South Carolina, and that's where she was living at the time. Yet her Mustang was found in St. Mary's, Georgia. And it was located there 2 months after her disappearance in October of 2003. Her husband's sister, Anita's sister-in-law, was driving it. Richardson and her husband also owned a 1987 Toyota pickup truck and a gray 92 Chevy Lumina. Authorities believe Richardson could have been taken against her will. After August, the couple failed to pay their rent and was served with not one but 2 eviction notices. The husband was gone by then, leaving most of Anita's things behind. And some of those things included a TV, a VCR, a mattress, and a refrigerator that was full of food. Whiteman, Anita's father, is disappointed in what he calls a lack of action. Anita is not listed on the Richland County Missing Persons or the Unsolved Homicide websites. She also isn't listed in the SLED list of cold cases. And SLED is basically like South Carolina's cold case database, okay? The few websites she is actually listed on do not even have her correct age, but didn't know how old she was, and that's what they're reporting back to the family. They actually didn't know how old she was, so they guessed, which is odd, you know. But let's keep going. Father Wyman, Anita's father, says he honestly does not believe his daughter is still alive. He is now looking for justice and closure. Wyman is working with the Middleton family to build a case and press charges against the man he believes took his daughter's life. Please share this story regarding Anita Middleton Richardson in order to reignite the investigation into her disappearance. So, again, Anita is originally from Columbia, South Carolina. At the time of her disappearance, she could have been 23, 24, or even 25. Okay, this picture that they have of her with her short hairstyle and everything, and with the gold backdrop, I believe that picture was probably taken in her teen years. And I'm going off the hairstyle. You know, a lot of black women wore their hair like that in the mid 90s, 80s to early 90s to mid 90s. So that doesn't look like a hairstyle that a lot of black women rocked in 2003. So I think this is a picture of her in her teens. Okay. Her height and weight, she's 5'5", 135 pounds. As I always like to say to the women who listen to my channel, if you meet those height and weight requirements between 5 feet and 5'5", between 100 and maybe about 175, you need to really start educating yourself on self-defense skills, and maybe even get a personal weapon and learn how to use it. Make sure your license is registered in whatever state. Make sure you know the laws and what have you. Okay, but the contact information for this case is Richland County Sheriff's Department at area code 330-841-2630. Now, guys, I hope you guys please comment and like the video and share it, not for my benefit, but for the benefit of Anita Richardson. Her family needs closure, and they definitely need to know what happened to her. Thank you all for watching, and please remember what I always tell you: be safe, be alert, and be aware. Please stick around for today's special feature.